Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for April 5th, 2020. With your host, SpaceBreaker2448 and Ramp at Epsilon.
Hi.
For some reason, the preview had the previous title on it for some reason.
That's weird.
Yeah. So, we've got the direct and like two other things to talk about. So it's probably gonna be a short show.
Hence why the pre-show went longer.
Yeah, it went about 2 hours. Because, Tetris. And we have something else to do. Because dumb ideas. Because other people are doing it, and fuck it, let's do it.
Kills time.
Yeah. But before we get into any of that, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Honestly, not much of anything outside of I did do a any percent run in Odyssey. I feel like I'm not so much rusty as I'm just dumb. Because I did stupid things and that caused the time loss.
That happens.
But yeah, outside of that, not much. Really?
So I played Persona 5 Royale for too many hours in the last like 4 days or so since I got it. Okay, so this is... It's not the definitive edition of Persona 5 because that's not a thing with Persona. It's an updated version of Persona 5 because they've done updated versions of the last couple Personas. Because 3 had FES, which added in a whole post-game story and area you could do as kind of like a separate... I don't know what to call it. Like a separate kind of like DLC campaign-esque. But it was on disc because it's the PS2 and DLC doesn't exist yet. Persona 4 had Golden, which came out on the Vita because Sony wanted the Vita to be pushed. And that added in like a new social link, a new dungeon you could go through late in the game, and more or less a whole like side plot of sorts, along with a bunch of other changes. Which takes us to 5, which gives you an entire new school semester to go through with a new dungeon, 2 new social links, which are 2 characters you can interact with and get bonuses and stuff out of. And then like a whole lot of under the hood changes, which is so much I'm not sure if I can tell you everything because I don't know everything about all of the under the hood changes they've done to the game. They've like buffed status effects and their ability to stick to enemies. So it's really easy to get status effects, which means it's really easy to get technical damage, which is more or less, to use a Pokemon comparison, let's say you put a Pokemon to sleep. You then, if you use a specific type of move on the Pokemon that's asleep, you get bonus damage on them. Like a good bit of bonus damage on them because they're asleep. And all the status effects are like that. So if you have like paralysis on them, if you hit them with a physical attack, hey, you just did a shit ton of damage to them. But I think the trade-off is you take away the status effect, I think. So you have to balance, like, if I want them to keep the status effect, or do I want to get the bonus damage, so... So, like, that's there. Personas have been rebalanced, and they also have a new trait system with them, where, more or less, they have Pokemon abilities that can just proc whenever. Like, Jack Frost that I have right now. He has the ability to go, oh yeah, all of your ice moves now cost half SP. Or, like, half mana. Always.
Well then.
And the thing is, that can proc for anyone. So, like, if someone else uses an ice move, hey, look, it costs half SP because Jack Frost says it does. So a lot of different traits work like that. So it's like ridiculous kind of stuff like that. So there's that. There's I'm trying to think of what else. Mementos has a new system where you can increase like the amount of experience and money and all this other stuff that you can get in Mementos through a system. There's an entire like customizable area that you get access to early on in the game called the Thieves' Den, which is more or less, hey, here's how you track your progress through the game. Because it has like a bunch of like more or less achievements, and every achievement you accomplish gives you money, and that money can be used to like buy like personas that you have to like put on display, or different props and stuff to put on display, and your various party members can come in and you can talk to them about that. And there's also a card game you can play there that's kind of fun, and I found myself a bit addicted to because it's a neat little card game. But you can also like watch all of your unlocked cutscenes along with some other stuff. You can listen to all the music. You can buy a whole bunch of like art and stuff as well with this money. And this carries over between all of your saves. So even if you New Game Plus, everything you have in the Thieves' Den stays the same. And a lot of the achievements incentivize you to go for New Game Pluses and repeated playthroughs, because one of the achievements is more or less do all the romance routes. Or at least get all the romance events. Which, you can finagle it on one playthrough, but it's a lot of like saving, loading, doing events, and all this, and a lot of headache. But if you don't want to do that, hey, you can go through the game multiple times and just do it. So there's that. All of the dungeons have received reworks. They're now like differently laid out with different explorable areas. There's now a thing called Will Seeds you can get 3 of per dungeon. And when you collect all 3, you get a new accessory that gives you a broken ability that you can upgrade into being even more broken. Like, there's so much changes to where it's like, this is more or less a brand new version of Persona 5 that came out like 4 years later. Because the original Persona 5 came out... and I'll use the Japanese release dates for this because they're extremely different from the US release dates. So it came out in Japan like September 15th, 2016 for PS3 and PS4. So that was... what, like 4 years ago? 5 years ago now? Close to 5 years?
Yeah.
And then Royale just came out October 31st last year. So that's like a 3-year difference. and this one's exclusively on PlayStation 4. So graphically, it's like better. Which, from a show called Boundary Break on YouTube, I found out that some of the cutscenes are not laid out how you think they are. Like, trying to find an example of this. I don't want an image of this. Perfect. I'm gonna grab this image. Alright, hopefully that worked. I can't wait for that to not work. It's not popping up on stream, is it?
But it's the right setting for it. One second, because that's how that's supposed to be.
Okay. I was assuming I did it. I was hoping I did it right and wasn't dumb. But yeah, I found out things about Persona 5, like some of the one-off cutscene areas that I'm just like, wait a minute, what? What do you mean? What? Excuse me?
Huh.
I guess it just broke.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know why.
But yeah, just to talk about the show a little bit. Boundary Break is a show on YouTube that more or less just goes, hey, we're going to take the camera where you're not supposed to, in the areas you're not supposed to see, and so you can see little tricks in game development. Like, for instance, a lot of times if a specific thing needs to be loaded into an engine cutscene and stuff, that thing is actually like off camera, out of the way.
There you
or
go, by
in
the
this
way.
Okay, or in this case, okay. What in this cutscene, or what in this image that you're seeing is rendered as a 3D model?
I would probably think just the player models.
Okay. Well, the desk is also a 3D render. That is actually a 3D model.
Huh.
But that entire background you see, that's just a flat 2D texture.
Yeah. I can see that.
I never knew that. I didn't realize it was. There's so many cutscenes like this where it's just a flat 2D texture.
Because you can do so much with
Perspective.
image files to give it that depth without actually giving it depth.
Yeah. And bear in mind, like, these cutscenes right here are just static image, or is just a static camera pointed one way. I never realized. Because of all of the work they did to these images to make it look like, oh, that's just a flat texture. That's literally just a flat image. Nothing else, just flat. I'm just like, what? And then I found out that one person's not even sitting in a chair in the environment. Because the doctor you visit in the game, she's sitting behind like a counter in like the waiting room of her clinic. She's not sitting, she's just standing there in her chair. I was like, wait, she's not even sitting, she's just standing in her chair and just doing her idle animation? Okay. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Persona 5 Royale. I wouldn't call it a new, fresh experience if you're coming in from Persona 5. It's a familiar experience because you are going through a lot of the same content in a sense. Like, a lot of the core story stuff and a lot of the core character work, that's still the same. Those moments are still there. There's just peppering ins of new events, new characters, and new stuff, and like new things to do in dungeons that makes it feel a little new and kind of like... honestly, the closest comparison I feel like is like XCOM Enemy Within, if you played XCOM Enemy Unknown. Because if you play Within, it's just like, oh, this is like still the same game, but it's like, oh, here's all this new things going on, these new things I can play with, and new fun stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'll be playing more. I'll probably platinum the game again, all over, because I like Persona. I am, like I normally do, I have like a max S-Link guide pulled up, just for routing purposes and just to go, okay, what should I be doing, and can I ignore it if I feel like it? Because I know I'm going to New Game Plus and like speed through all of the dialogue and stuff that I've already seen and like just watch anything I haven't seen, because that cuts down a lot on the time, especially early on if you just fast forward and skip cutscenes and dialogues. Like, you cut your playtime in half, I feel like, at times. So I'm fine if I miss something the first time through, because I'll just pick it up again, because when you do Game Plus, you carry over a bunch of stuff that just makes doing things easier. Like, there's a bunch of stuff you just don't have to do anymore because your stats are good enough. You come in with your in-game gear, so you trivialize combat. Because you don't need your personas, you can just kick people in the face and move on. Which is absolutely fun. Especially when you come into the final boss at max level and skip phases of the fight. It was so fun to do that. To end off my New Game Plus run is just going, hey, final boss, you have like these like 5 or 6 like hard phase points? Yeah, fuck those. I'm only gonna see like half of them because I'm doing so much damage so fast. But yeah, Royale's fun. I'm enjoying it. That's all I really got. So, shall we talk the Direct?
I mean, we're gonna have to, aren't we?
Yeah. The last week, I believe, we had they're dubbing a Nintendo Direct Mini, even though it was 45 minutes. So, like the normal Direct length. So, fairly standard. But we got some new information on more or less existing stuff. I don't think anything like brand new was announced here. I don't think. But updates on a lot of information. So, kickoff, we had new information for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive. That they more or less went, here's like a good look at the game, gameplay-wise. Also different quality of life stuff we're doing for menuing and party management stuff. And they confirmed that there's a new epilogue chapter of the game with 2 of the characters, Shulk and Melia. And it was revealed after the Direct, if you want to play this epilogue chapter off the bat, you can. So you don't have to go through the entirety of Xenoblade Chronicles story to play this if you've already played Chronicles on the Wii. So that's cool.
That seems like a good on them, Nintendo.
Yeah, although this is Monolith's not Nintendo, technically.
Yeah, technically, but Nintendo still could have pulled the trigger and said, you do it this way.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really cool that they're doing that. Yeah, it looks really good. I've wanted to play Chronicles 1 since I played Chronicles 2. And I have an ISO of the Wii 1 downloaded, but I'm kind of tempted to just pick this up eventually and just play Chronicles 1 this way. Since I think technically they're making...
If you are thinking about buying it, that might be the better. Like, I guess part of me wants to be like, you know, if I was to play through the whole game and I already had plans of buying it, then yeah, I would probably just buy it. But the other part of me is, if you've got any doubt, if you've already got that ROM for it, maybe try it and see.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of changes, and I know they're also making slight adjustments, like visually and maybe in story, to line this up better with 2. Because I know one character already has a visual adjustment made to their model to line up with things that were revealed in Chronicle 2. Because bear in mind, this came out on the Wii. So the visual difference between these two is fucking light years. See if I can pull up a comparison. Just a comparison image real quick to give you an idea of like the stark difference between these two. That's good. If I can just have the image. Yeah, there it is in chat, since the thing's not working. Like, that is a literal way to go. That was 2 console generations ago. Yeah, I'm tempted to pick this up at some point. I'll probably try out the Chronicles 1 on Wii. But in other news, we have a bunch of 2K games coming to the Switch. BioShock the Collection, which is, I think, 1, 2, and Infinite. Borderlands Legendary Collection, which is the first 3 Borderlands games, and XCOM 2 Collection, which is XCOM 2 plus the War Chosen expansion and all the DLC, are all coming to Switch. Which, cool. Also, I don't know why it says the collection, BioShock Collection, is 1 and 2, when there's the image of Infinite up above. And they clearly show Infinite is a part of the collection.
Reasons.
Yep. They promoted the last piece of Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC, which is Shadow of Doom. From reviews I've read, apparently it's the DLC everyone was looking forward to for this game. This is a proper, like, series of levels with story and stuff, instead of just a series of just battle arenas. And you grind to unlock characters instead of just having them off the bat.
Huh.
Well, this DLC lets you just have the characters off the bat instead of grinding for them. So, cool. I haven't touched Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 in forever. Since the last time I streamed it. We also have Shinsekai Into the Depths. This reminded me of Song of the Deep that I streamed a while back from Insomniac. A little side-scrolling, like, kind of Metroidvania underwater game. It's even got a time attack mode. Looks neat. Animal Crossing update. Easter egg hunting for Animal Crossing. Apparently it's causing people to have aneurysms because The eggs kind of are overriding a lot of stuff that people want, and it's being obnoxious. Good Job was announced and is available right now. It looks like just a fun screw around physics engine game. Was just, hey, do office work, sometimes in the dumbest way possible if necessary. Like, do you need to deliver something across the office? Why don't you just build a slingshot and just sling it over there?
That kind of sounds like something I would probably be interested in more for the how stupid can we go with this?
It looks like you can go pretty stupid, to be honest. From the trailer, it's like, more or less, here's a physics engine, have fun. Take the longest way around to accomplish something to have the most fun. I think it's even an eShop title, too. So it's probably like $20. Catherine Full Body is coming to Switch on July 7th. So for those with wanting some puzzle action platformer stuff, there you go. Ring Fit has a new content update that is just, hey, here's a rhythm minigame where you just like work out to various songs from Odyssey, Splatoon 2, Breath of the Wild in Ring Fit Adventure. And it's an actual, like, you have to use the Ring Fit to do all the notes and do all, more or less, like, Rock Band Guitar Hero stuff. So that's neat. King's Bounty 2 is coming this year. Tactical RPG. I think I tuned out for a second when this was on screen because I was watching the direct after it went live. So I think I just skipped through this one because I was just like, this looks alright, but I'm not interested. We know the first of the 6 fighters for Volume 2 of the Fighter Pass, and it is somebody from the cast of ARMS. Quite literally, because they showed the entire cast as, I guess, potential for the ARMS representative. But they said right now they needed more time to develop it, so expect more information in June, I think, is what they said.
Which would make sense. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that's around the time that ARMS was released, so kind of an anniversary deal.
Yeah, more information, and it will be released in June, presumably. So, in 2 months, we'll have the first Fighter Pass character. I would have to defer to you on this, on who out of this is it going to be most likely, because I have no idea. Besides, apparently, what was it, Min Min? Whoever won the last tournament of ARMS, the last big character tournament of ARMS, like that seems to be the person, presumably.
Maybe. Because I'm kind of wondering how they're going to play that one out.
Yeah.
Like the obvious has kind of been the face of ARMS kind of camp because, trophies can't be fighters, so... So
that drops out Springman from this conversation. And I would assume also Robo Springman or Evil Springman, whatever his name is.
Not necessarily, because they are technically 2 different ones.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good question. On who?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. Like, honestly, I'd be up for anyone because considering the quality of all the other Fighter Pass characters, even if it's characters I didn't like have an interest in beforehand, I still enjoyed playing them. Like, I really didn't have a huge interest in Terry, and then Terry became my favorite Fighter Pass character to play as because he was so fun to play mechanically. So yeah, I'm just curious how it would go. And not last up, my bad. Not quite. Next up, Bravely Default 2 coming this year. They've got a demo on the Switch now. I have not played it. Do you got any interest in Bravely Default 2?
No, not really.
But yeah, I think the trailer more or less just went, here's Bravely Default 2. It's more or less, we are taking the Final Fantasy approach of, this is just a new world, new characters, new story, and just more or less using the same mechanics. Which feel weirdly like Octopath Traveler mechanics in a sense. Except different.
I wouldn't know why.
I'm pretty sure it's the same devs. Is it the same devs?
Or at least they're at the very least both Square games.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I know with this they have the job class system that I think you can mix and match with instead of just like having one standard class, which makes it different than Octopath. We also had Clubhouse Games coming out in June, which is, hey, here's 51 more or less like board games and like card games and stuff to play with your friends because it does have online play for some games. They didn't specify which ones. This sounds cool, depending on like what's available online, to just have like, hey, just go play like blackjack with friends online. Or like air hockey, or like billiards. Or bowling, because bowling's in here. Like, it's a lot of stuff with online play. Okay, it's a lot of stuff, and I presume, like, I would hope a good portion of it is online play as well. Because some of it looked like it was relying on touch controls for the Switch screen.
Or at the very least, maybe it'll allow online play over time.
Yeah. We also had another look at Ninjala, which is Ninja Splatoon.
Yep.
Like, I want to say, I forgot what Tom's exact tweet was, but it's like, he said it was like Ninja Splatoon or something, changed my mind, and I tweeted at him, no, because I can 100% agree with you. This is Ninja Splatoon. Even down to having a 4v4, like, gameplay mode. Or multiplayer mode.
Really?
Yes, it has 4v4 multiplayer.
Oh my goodness.
And bear in mind, this is not from the Splatoon devs, I believe. And it's also free to play. And it is coming like May 27th.
I mean, I would be up for giving it a shot at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is coming from like Gung Ho Entertainment, which have done a bunch of mobile stuff from what I'm seeing, and other online games.
A lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. I'd be willing to give it a shot since it's free to play.
That's kind of where I stand at it.
Next up, some Star Wars games are coming to Switch. Out now, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. If you enjoyed Jedi Knight 2, which I think is already on Switch as well. And then Episode 1 Pod Racer is coming to Switch soon. So, like, the one good game associated with Episode 1. Which is the thing everyone doesn't like about Episode 1, which is pod racing. Panzer Dragoon Remake is on the Switch right now, but apparently someone from Game Explain said it wasn't good. So I don't know. I didn't listen to all of what he had to say on it. We also have Trials of Mana coming April 24th. Just another look at that. And we ended with another look at the expansion pass for Sword and Shield, just the one that's coming out end of June. The Isle Armor one. Which I believe confirmed that your Kung Fu Evolution is not version exclusive. You get to choose which one. So I guess the only thing that's version exclusive with Isle Armor is your rival of that?
I guess.
Whether you get Psychic Man or Girl, I don't remember anything specific about.
Fine.
Oh, and they had a montage of stuff as well, which I don't know, Burnout Paradise Remastered is coming this year. I'll be honest, if I want to play a Burnout game, I'd rather it not be Paradise than it be one of the other Burnouts that's remastered and not like chop the hell from microtransactions and bullshit like that.
I can see that.
Like if you give me Burnout Revenge like remastered in like really nice high quality, fuck yes, as long as there's no bullshit attached to it. I think do I have Revenge still? No, I still don't have my copy of it. That was my Burnout. Was Burnout Revenge.
Ah.
Elder Scrolls Blades, Saints Row 4. Stop it. Mr. Drillerland, which is apparently a new version of a Japanese exclusive game. I know that because John talked about it. Because he just picked up the old version of this. And it was just like, now you come out with it on the Switch with online play? And Minecraft Dungeons. So, how'd you feel about the Direct Mini? After people demanding Directs and this getting fucking just tossed on the internet and not even announced a day earlier.
I mean, wasn't really needed, I don't feel.
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff in here I like, but
it just all the way around doesn't really feel like anything that was demanding a Direct.
Yeah, I feel like the Direct everybody wants is in 2 months.
Yeah.
That is the E3 but not E3 Direct. Because that's the one with the fall lineup. Maybe Breath of the Wild 2 news, since I kind of want to find out about Breath of the Wild 2 since I've gotten back in the Breath of the Wild 1 doing shrine quests and stuff.
I think it's either going to be Breath of the Wild 2 news or maybe like Metroid Prime. Not necessarily 4, but Metroid Prime news.
More or less the trilogy.
That's what I'm more kind of leaning towards. Because, I mean, what would be their point of doing a whole lot with 4 first.
Yeah.
I feel like first would probably have to be, let's get the trilogy there. Especially since they kind of, had to restart from scratch.
Yeah. Because we have, like, what? Breath of the Wild 2 on the docket, Bayonetta 3 on the docket, Prime 4 on the docket at some point in the future.
Apparently the year of Mario is we're fixing to get to.
Yeah, because just to put it on the table since we're talking about future Switch releases.
Yeah.
Reports from Eurogamer and Video Game Chronicle suggest that Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy are all getting re-releases sometime this year. And we are also getting apparently a new Paper Mario title and a deluxe version of 3D World that includes new levels. I'm just gonna focus in on the one thing I think I care about the most out of this. Okay, new Paper Mario title. Is this classic Paper Mario or new-ish Paper Mario where the writing's there but the gameplay kind of isn't, in my opinion, from what I've seen?
That's a good question.
I think I've heard related to this rumor that it is classic Paper Mario. Because, like, Color Splash, I think the writing was there from what I've seen, but I didn't care for the fucking 12 million card hand you had to, like, sort through to do attacks and stuff and all that. I didn't care for that. That felt like just, this can be trimmed down some. Honestly, the re-releases are, hey, that's cool. Only like one of these I haven't played ever, and that's the Galaxies. Or no, I played Galaxy 2 a little bit, because I think I still have a copy of it.
I've got 1 and 2, but I don't think I've actually played both. I've got because I want to, but at the same time, I've just not done it yet.
I've got a copy of 2 because I ended up with 1 at some point. And I played a little bit of it, but I've never played Galaxy 1, which I don't... What's the one everyone says is the better one? Isn't it 2?
I believe it is 2, actually.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, would make sense.
Yeah. And then 3D World with new levels, that's the Wii U one, isn't it?
Yep.
So that's just another Wii U port.
But...
and a series of Wii U ports.
I'm gonna say this. What makes me almost want to debunk the rumor is Galaxy being included. As weird as that sounds, that's the one that I'm like, that makes me kind of be like, nope, not gonna happen.
Because that requires a lot of motion control mapping.
Not so much that it requires it, because a lot of it is more additional methods to get the star bits. But you do have the motion control there. So you would have to have an alternate means for it. The other 3, that's not a problem at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the hardest out of the other 3 would maybe be dealing with something with 3D World's touchscreen compatibility. But let's be honest, Nintendo's had a good hand already at modifying the Wii U stuff to make it work.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's a big problem.
So, presumably, if 3D Land gets ported, what's left that would be worthwhile to port on Wii U at this point?
3D World, by the way.
Yeah, 3D World.
That's two different games. That's the only reason I'm making that stipulation there.
Yeah, I know there's 3D World and 3D Land. John's currently playing 3D Land as I look over to it, so...
I think that would probably be the final nail in the coffin for the Wii U, actually.
Yeah. Because, like, I'm turning around to look at I was about to say Wonderful 101, because that's coming out, like, this month for Switch in a remastered version. Honestly, the only thing I have is Star Fox Zero, and I don't know if there's enough pull for that one at this point.
I don't know so much about if there's enough pull for it as much as if Nintendo would even be looking at that as a potential.
Yeah. Because I think the only other thing maybe would be like Chronicles X, but Monolith Soft has already like shut that down by saying, yeah, that's not something we can viably do at this point. That requires us to rebuild the game from the ground up. Specifically for the Switch, and we're not doing that. So
and
that's off the table.
I can kind of understand that.
Yeah. It's like, we're not going to do that. Like, we can't do that. That's not even viable for us to have a conversation about. So, like, if that's off the table, I don't know what's left. Of, like, meaningful titles.
That's probably it at that point.
Yeah.
Like, that probably does spell death for the Wii U.
Yeah. Okay, super death, to be honest, because it's already 6 feet in the ground.
It was dead from the moment that someone named it the Wii U.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But speaking of Switch titles, there's a survey you can take, or that's directed at people playing Persona 5 Royale. And apparently a question in it maybe is talking about localization of Persona 5 Scramble. For reference, for those that don't know what Scramble is, Scramble is a sequel in story to Persona 5, at least base Persona 5, because I don't think it has any references related to Royale at all. So just base Persona 5. And it's more of a Muso style game, except not quite. It's more like linear action platformer in a sense than like going around capturing bases and stuff. It feels weird. It's got like the gameplay of a Muso's game, but like the pacing of like a normal action platformer. But the survey may be prompting at seeing if there's interest in bringing Scramble to the US, and I would assume, yeah, that would be the case. I would assume you would do it at some point after you got done localizing Royale. I don't know why I keep calling it Royale, because it's Royal. God damn it.
Because you got Fortnite on the mind.
More or less. I would assume so. I would assume it would come like, not maybe later this year, if not next year. Especially since this is available on the Switch, along with the PlayStation 4. But I would like to see it localized, just to have more Persona-related content, to be honest. Do you happen to check out the demo at all?
No.
Okay. It is the reason I made a eShop account, so or a Japanese eShop account. And why I get Japanese Nintendo news now on my Switch. And unfortunately, that is it for news. But we have other stuff we can do, since we're only at we're less than an hour.
Yeah, but technically that does put us at the 3.
Yep. So, because other people, specifically Cultaholic, were doing tier lists for wrestling-related things, I figured, why don't we do tier lists? So, I went to the major tier list website, Tier Maker, and I looked for writer-related tier lists. And I saw that there wasn't one on solo movies. Or on all the Heisei Rider solo movies. So I made one for all the solo Heisei Rider movies, and as you can see, we can now rank all of the solo Heisei Rider movies. And by solo, all of them, I mean half of them, because collectively we've only watched all of the Phase 2 ones besides the Ghost one, which we're not watching for like a couple weeks.
Yep.
So unfortunately, there's no names here, but I remember all the names.
Luckily.
So it's more than just the poster ones, and they're in, thankfully, the same order for you as they are for me, because I have this pulled up. So...
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's not randomized. So, we are not going to rank, and I guess has it as default as S, A, B, C, D. You can change those, but it just defaults to that regardless of if you make a template or not. So I guess D is we have not seen these movies, I guess.
I guess that would work.
So Project G4, Blade Missing Ace, Ori Tanjo for Deno, Bai's Lost Paradise, the Seven Oni movie from Hibiki, Godspeed Love for Kabuto. Shit, I don't remember the Kiva one. Fuck. What's the Kiva one called? 1 second. I gotta pull up the list, actually. Thankfully, there's just a list for these. King of the Castle and the Demon World. So I guess just Demon World for Kiva. Episode final for Ryuki. And I guess for now, 100 Icons for Ghosts is just in the we have not seen these yet list. Which leaves us, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movies to rank. Because you've watched Overcourtser, right?
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, so I guess Overcourtser is going to go here now, too, so it's collectively no. Bear in mind, I say this collectively because technically I've watched several of these movies. So, we aren't going to collectively rank these. So that leaves us with Surprise Future, All Riders, True Episode, Space Time. What's the proper name of the kind one? Golden Fruits Cup, Be the One, A to Z, Magic Land, and 21 Core Medals to rank. So, where do you want to start? I am tempted to say in order to be honest.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be the best.
Yeah, so All Riders versus Die Shocker. Oh god, it's been so long. I almost want to say meh, so like a B on it. from what I remember, it was like kind of all right. I think like, yeah, I would kind of say all right. I don't think I hated that one.
That was the. I'm trying to remember which one.
That's the one where Tsukasa had a sister, and we had like Rising Ultimate Kuga, mushy like yellow Kuga. Shadow Moon was there. Double made his first appearance. Everything is Tsukasa's fault because he got tricked by Shocker into making a Rider Battle Royale thing. Any of this clicking?
I feel like you're right. It's in the meh.
Yeah. So A to Z is top of this list, right?
Definitely, yeah.
I'm gonna put this at top of the list, and it's just gonna be top of the list because it's A to Z. It's, I feel like, the best solo film we've ever gotten. It's one of the best Rider movies in overall because it's just a really good solo story, does really good work with the double cast, weaves into the double story, just in and out for a nice little hour and a half movie. It's just a really good movie.
It's almost like it's that weird they actually knew how to make a movie.
Yep. So, well, technically it's O's Wonderful. I don't know why I refer to 21 Core Metal. It's technically O's Wonderful. So, O's Wonderful, which we got to watch recently for TGSR. Trying to think. I kind of want to put it in between.
I feel like that would be right for it, actually.
Yeah, because like that last fight scene with all of those combos is really good, but it doesn't weave itself into the O's story and show well enough.
Yeah, it kind of just is on its own. It's not really like it is, but it isn't part of the show kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of lowers it a little.
Yeah, and while it works, I don't know, I just don't like it as much as A to Z.
Like, I feel like with it works within its continuity, but it's at the same time it can work outside of it too, so it's in that weird little limbo. Because, case in point, we've had movies where they work perfectly within the show, and then sometimes they just would be better off without the show.
Yeah.
Case in point, the Ichigo movie.
Yeah.
That would have been fine as a standalone movie. I'm not saying it would have been good, but that would have been fine. The fact that it tried to tie into Ghost so hard is what made it just on the bad side kind of deal.
Alright, so Everyone in Space Time, the Forza movie, another one we got to watch for the podcast recently. Now we're in the weird. We have a weird movie that's like, here's some Ishinomori revival material that works, and I like the twist on it. And it does fit into Forze's story well enough, I think.
And like, I mean, they do make the references back to all their stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of in that odd limbo that we now don't have.
Like it's above O's Wonderful, but not quite A to Z.
Yeah.
So I was like, can I add a new row? How
Like
do you add a new?
Another option would be to bring what we've got for A and B down a peg.
Yeah, but then we would need a new row for everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, there. I found the way. It's on the gear. You just add a row above.
Oh.
So let's say just S plus S for simplicity. So
That'll work.
Yeah, so Magic Land, which we got to watch for the old version of the podcast when we were doing Wizard.
God, that's been a while.
Yeah, that's been a really long while. I kind of just remember the highlights of this movie. Like, I remember this not tying into the movie or in the show at all. It was kind of just this weird one-off thing of just, here's this bad guy that just showed up, just kidnapped Naomi, just made his own little pocket world thing that just pulled the two of them in. So we have the two of them in some alternate universe with everybody gets to use magic. But I honestly don't remember much else. Like, I don't even remember that much about Sorcerer, who's the main bad guy of this movie, outside of, hey, he got the shit kicked out of him by Infinity All Dragon. I kind of would have played it with Decade, to be honest.
I kind of think I believe I want to agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm kind of skimming through the plot summary that the Kamen Rider Wiki has, and I'm like, yeah. This makes a lot of sense why I don't really remember this one.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think another movie's gonna go there, which is the Gaim one, because it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Because Koja gets pulled into Soccer World for an hour-and-a-half movie.
That really has no bearing on the show.
Yeah, like, lore-wise it does, because it gives you Kota's counterpart in the Overlords, which didn't exist in the show. But that was kind of it.
But at the same time, I feel like that's not as big of a pull out of it.
Yeah, because, like, Kamo wasn't a whole...
Discord.
The Discord break.
Discord.
Discord Y. Discord Y. Discord Y.
At least it's been nice today.
Yeah.
Just about all of them have been when I can hear.
Am I back? Am I hearable?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Like, I was also saying, like, Kamo's not anything to write home about. Mars is about on par with Sorcerer as a villain of just, you are here to be punched. Honestly, the most I remember is, like, the All-Rider henshin from the end of the movie before they go and play a soccer game for, like, no reason, and I'm just like, why? Because it's, like, the only time you'll get all of the Gaim Riders together to henshin. And, like, literally all of the Gaim Riders. Also, this is the only movie to introduce, like, the Genesis driver Kurakage variant, which is just Kurakage with a different spear. Because that's a thing. That I think I forget about unless I think about this movie. So yeah, it's kind of with Decade. And it's not that spectacular of a movie. Even though it did have tie-ins to the episode, because it had that episode intro where Kaito got pulled in for an episode, and then Koto got pulled in for the movie.
I mean, I guess it did tie in good enough for that, but...
There's nothing else to write home about with this movie, unfortunately.
Yeah...
Alright, surprise future. It's a really good movie, actually.
Yeah.
Because it just uses the A to Z formula of, here's a main bad guy, drops our riders to their lowest point, we fight back through it. Honestly, it also kind of follows it beat to beat. With, like, Tamari getting a lower powered driver / form with super dead heat that he has to fight with until he beats the bad guy with the new movie exclusive form at the end.
The only thing that I feel like might kind of break it is the fact that while we did get the teases within Drive, there really isn't a need for a kind of a drive into the movie or out of it.
Yeah, it feels standalone, especially with the revelations in the movie and the interpretations you can make. And also, it's connected to Ghosts, and Ghost canon is nonsense.
Well, I exclude that point of it, because, I mean, nothing can tie to Ghost and be good.
Yeah.
So that point when you've got it good for the rest of it, it's like, yeah, ignore that little cameo and just keep on moving.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the only movies in here that is worth talking about the cameos to start with is weirdly the 3 that are above the B rank ones. Because all of those get to be called back on in later material.
True.
Not even the double one in All Riders gets called back on in 2010, from what I remember.
I think you're right, actually.
So I'm willing to say
I would be willing to say S+ because it does follow so close to how Double does, but the thing that's kind of holding me back from saying that's more the fact of, like I said, there's not really anything show-wise outside of the few little teaser Easter eggs that lead into or out of this movie.
Yeah, so I guess S?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would feel like it's kind of that fine line where if one thing had been done a little different, it could hard fall in either. But, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, true ending. Why is this movie 2 ideas slapped together into one? Why?
Because reasons.
Yeah, because, like, on one hand, you have the VR world stuff that is, like, the opening of the movie, really, in the first, like, 20, 30 minutes of it, I think. But then that plot gets ejected towards the end when you have the other guy becoming Gamdeus at the end, and then you have, like, the fight that's teased in the trailers, but that fight ends, and then they have to go do another fight later for Miteki. and then you have like Mighty VRX is absolutely pointless in the movie, and Fuma's also feels kind of pointless in the movie overall. Oh, and also like Poppy doesn't even gets like one fight scene, but then she doesn't get to fight with the rest of the riders at the end, which is so stupid in my opinion. Like, she's the only one besides Fuma who doesn't get the fight. And it's dumb. I hate it. I almost want to say B. It's like, there's some stuff there I like, but like, I don't want to say it's like the worst. Because I don't...
I feel like I can agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like out of all of these, I can't just be like I really hated any of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's definitely lacking. Mm-hmm. And you know, now that I'm thinking about that a little more, I'm really hoping they learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Seeing as how a lot of the same cast that did X8 is doing 01, and it's like, oof, please.
Well, the only problem I have with that right now is that I don't know if we will get a 01 movie at this rate because of, you know, coronavirus situation. Because, like, I presume they wouldn't be filming the movie right now. I assume it's like in pre-production at the moment. So filming's not delayed yet. But if it keeps going, filming will be delayed, which means it might get canceled. Maybe. I don't know, because like Kier Major's production is on hold at the moment until Kier Major Red's back on his feet. And we know they have episodes through to early May. But what happens if he's not back on his feet in time to get episodes going? Does Ryder also go on hiatus, assuming like nothing happens to any of the cast members there? Does Ryder go on hiatus if Kier Major has to go on hiatus for a couple weeks and pushes both of them back? Or is it just Kier Major goes on hiatus and Ryder keeps airing, so that offsets Sentai more from Ryder? And if it does that...
That's actually a good question.
And if it does that, does that affect the filming of the Kier Major movie? Because bear in mind, the 01 movie and Kier Major movie both come out at the same time. That's the standard. Because the Kier Major movie is like more or less a half-hour, like, better filmed episode that, like, is played before the 01 movie. So, like, if that offsets it, does that mean, like, the Kier Major movie's delayed along with the 01 movie? Or just, like, there's things here that I'm just like, what's happening? But anywho, be the one. It's actually another one that follows the A to Z beat for beat, kind of. Because you have organization swoops in, does their thing, brings our riders to their lowest point, but we don't get Sento in a underpowered form. We instead get cross build to end the movie with, which I kind of like, just for the fun fact of, oh, Sento and Banjo have to work together in this one-off form. And it's a nice extended fight scene too. I think the only things I just don't like is Great Cross, which feels pointless. And the only reason it showed up in the show is to promote the movie. I feel like you just had Cross just be Cross instead of Great Cross, and you just wouldn't worry about it. the other villains aren't super anything to write home about, I feel like. They're more or less just, here's Stark's extended family. They're all assholes, because his entire fucking race is assholes, apparently.
Apparently.
So, I kind of want to say A.
Yeah. Oh. I kind of can't make an argument against that one either.
Yeah. So, I guess the question becomes, where do you think 100 Icons is going to fall when we watch it in a couple weeks?
Is it weird that I kind of think it might fall towards the S or A, actually? Because, and the reason I say that is because a lot of the ones we ranked at the bottom of the ones we liked were kind of the ones that it was more, it just was a derail from the show.
Yeah.
Whereas with Ghost, there's not really anywhere to derail. I almost feel like the movie might be in a better quality than the show.
I'll be honest, I only remember a few things from the movie. I remember the campaign to fill out the 100 icon list, where people more or less made the top labels for the icons. People sent in their designs for this list of icons, and those, and I guess whatever ones looked the best made it into the movie, and you see them during the credits. And there's some interesting ones on the icon list. Although one of the weird ones is that the Wright brothers are separate instead of being like Grimm.
That's weird.
Yeah. It was one of those, that was weird, and I don't remember anything else. I know the Gamba Rising only icons are also on the list because when I was watching the episodes for this week, because two of the episodes, much like Drive, have the little 2-minute prologue thing to the movie at the end of the episode. So we have those, and the first one has the Gamba Rising only icons, along with the 2 movie exclusive icons on display. To show, hey, these are a part of the 100 icons. But that, Takaru's really stupid line that I swear is contradicted in the series, and now I honestly still can't remember if it's contradicted or not because I didn't pay attention to make sure it did. But it's a really stupid line, to be honest.
I'm sure I'll be able to point it out as soon as we see it.
Yeah. Takaru dies again and revived because the 100 icons says he can.
Which that's just par for the course.
But he stays dead for several days, I think. There's some sort of time skip at the end of the movie. I don't remember the exact time frame. And that's kind of it, outside of, hey, here's the dark Necrom suits that there's a thing in the show that's used to promote it, I guess, and it's done terribly. So yeah, I'll be honest. If you ask me, based off vague memories of the movie, it's probably gonna end up in the B category. When I rewatch this in a couple weeks. if not lower. Because I know what is going to be lower than that.
Is it one that I've got a pretty good idea of what would be lower, too?
If it's over Quartzer, yes.
Okay.
Because, over Quartzer's kind of a... It's kind of meh, but also just like the twist it does about Sogo's character is just like thanks for further muddying the water about him and Omagio and anything interesting I liked about the series. And also, thanks for never explaining the coursers as a concept and just being like, they're a thing. And also, maybe being after the series or something. I don't know. It's more or less its own thing.
More or less its own thing that it does bad.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember any of these other movies that I've actually seen that are from Phase 1 Heisei. I know I've seen several of these, but I cannot tell you where they land because it's been so long. Yeah, it's been too long for me to even...
As weird as it sounds, I have to think that Kabuto's movie probably wouldn't be on the bottom. It probably wouldn't be the top, but it probably wouldn't be at the very bottom.
It's an alternate universe movie. But that's all I remember about Godspeed Love.
Like I said, probably not on the bottom.
Yeah. It's supposed to tie into the show, but from what I know about the show, apparently it disconnects itself from the movie. So that's a no. Like G4 is its own thing because it doesn't connect to the continuity. Ryuki is its own thing. Fize is its own thing because it's an alternate universe. Blade's an alternate ending to the series. Hibiki, for the most part, is continuity, but it's all, like, past backstory, with more or less a different Hibiki that's just played by the same actor. Because that's how Ancestry works. If you go back far enough, your ancestor is just you in different clothes.
Because that's right. I mean...
Especially when Hibiki as a title is not hereditary. It's just the thing that gets passed down. Dino's actually not only in continuity, but leads to the creation of Liner in series. Because of the events of the movie. Like, literally, there's an episode of Dino that leads directly into the Dino movie, and then coming out of the Dino movie, they deal with the fallout of what they needed to do to beat the villain, and that ends up leading to the creation of Liner. So, like, it's the most connected movie of any solo movies, to be honest. Even more so than A to Z, surprisingly. And I've never seen the Kiva movie, so I can't talk about it. But I guess we'll hold on to this until a couple weeks from now. We'll see where one of our icons ends up.
Yep.
You want to do another one, or should we move on?
I guess let's move on.
Okay.
That way we don't burn everything right now.
Alright. So, releases.
That I am so not prepared for. Okay. So that happened. Why did the tab come out? I did not click and drag. I clicked. Thanks, Chrome. Also, for those wondering, yes, all the releases are right there on that page.
So, yeah, it's a super short list this week.
Yeah.
So, kicking off on the 7th, we have Disaster Report 4, Summer Memories for PlayStation 4 and Switch, and Form for PlayStation 4. On the 8th, we have Tower Tale for Switch, and on the 9th, we have Beholder 2 for Xbox One, and on the 10th, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake for PlayStation 4. Because it's Final Fantasy VII Remake and nothing else is coming out that day, so have fun with your Final Fantasy Remake, folks, in 5 days.
Yeah, you're part 1 of question mark.
Part 1 of we don't know, we didn't plan this out. Which baffles me a little, just like, why didn't you plan this out?
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have a plan? What do you mean you're just gonna remake part 1 of this game and not have any idea how many parts it's going to be?
We're gonna do a remake of a game. This is gonna be part 1 of we don't know how many. We're just winging it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
On the 11th, we have Space Engineers for Xbox One. On the 14th, we have Fishing Sim World for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And on the 16th, we have Billion Road for Switch and Hellpoint for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. And that is our releases, which takes us to Quick Draws. And, do you remember Sagat Sanshiro?
I want to say yes, but I can't swear to that.
Mascot for Sega back in the 90s for the Dreamcast and the Saturn, more or less. Played by Hongo's actor.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Well, his son has taken up the mantle. And now he is Sega Shiro. And he is appearing in commercials for Sega to tell you about Sega. Unfortunately, we only have the one commercial at the moment, and it is not as bonkers as Sagat Sanshiro commercials have been before. He more or less just shows up and says, what is I don't remember his name. Just Sega Dio, more or less. So, nothing as crazy as Sagat Sanshiro just yet. But I have hopes. I have hopes that this will be just as crazy as Sagat.
Well then.
To him being just as good, and then both him and Sagat Sanshiro get to be in a Project Cross Zone game together.
Also, shoutouts to Discord just doing it without me noticing.
Damn it. So I assume it cut me off at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm all for weird, dumb video game commercials. Especially if he gets popular enough to get put in a Project Cross Zone with his dad. Because Sagat Sanshiro is a playable character in Project Cross Zone 2. Legitimately, he is a playable character. You know, alongside, Jill Valentine and other video game characters. Here's Sagat Sanshiro telling you to play the Sega Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn. And to use that fucking dial-up connection. Because he actually talks about a dial-up connection in the game. So, I am happy that this exists and this is a thing, and I can't wait. But anywho, you don't have a quick draw, do you?
Nope.
So, yeah, that is kind of it for the week. We will definitely do more tier lists in the future. I have 2 Pokemon ones, and I know there's a ton others. Even a ton other, like, Rider ones. Although, I know there was a category that was, like, really dumb, but I don't remember what it was when I was looking through categories. Or I was looking for stuff and there was a category list. Because, let's see, there's Final Forms. There are several Final Form ones. There are Main Rider ones. There are Opening ones. There's Suit Design ones. There's ones for another Riders and Secondary Riders. And Monsters. And one for just the themes in X-Aid. The Ghost Suits, which would actually be relevant to us.
True.
I guess at the end is to rate all the Ghost Suits. Which, for some reason, they duplicate them if they got used in Boost.
I guess because technically they're different suits.
Technically, but I would almost put them on the same level regardless.
Or I would only use the boost forms.
Yeah.
Like that's how I would look at it.
Yeah. Oh wow, they've even put in all the Deep Spectre Parka changes. Okay. Because I'll be honest, it's like, if you're rating the Ghost Suit designs, when it comes to the 15 heroic icons, you're rating you're rating the Parka more than anything.
True.
I'm looking at this Final Form one. Why is one of the pictures just say Kaiza Final Form and it's just a pile of dirt? And why is another one Ichijiro with a fucking sniper rifle? What the hell? What is this? What's happening? Okay, so I might need to make sure if we do any of these other random ones to make sure it's a good one.
Yeah.
Apparently there's one that's 100 Ultimate Game protagonists and... Okay, there... Why is Batman here? And Spider... Excuse me? Oh, okay. Also, why is... Sans is not the protagonist of Undertale. Why is Sans here? Excuse me? Tier list. We need to have a conversation. But anywho, tomorrow is more Ghost. Oh boy, do we have fun episodes tomorrow. Because I watched them yesterday. Oh, is that last one going to be fun to type up the notes for? Because I'm just like, what was in this fucking episode? I don't remember. Because I checked out of that episode halfway through.
Well, that's not good.
No, not really. Especially because the plot of it in the previous episode are kind of dumb. And then this next week is kind of the same we got this week. Should be the end of Ace Attorney 3 and the end of the trilogy. So I move on to something else next week?
It should be the end of Wind Waker.
Depends on how long it takes for me to beat the last of the game. More or less.
Pretty much, yeah.
Since I decided to spend an hour doing something I didn't need to do. Because I wanted a thing, but I didn't get to have the thing even if I did beat it.
Partially my fault there.
I read it, but I still wanted to beat it.
I said partially. Because I did also try to talk you out of doing it. I mean... Oops. But yeah. The Discord did it again. Gosh darn it. It did it again, didn't it?
Apparently.
Why? This makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. But anywho, that'll do it for me, for Tommy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.